Hi guys, Pavel from Immortality speaking. Welcome to the next video. In this video I would like to show you some history about this PC build and idea why I built it. At the very first beginning, as a new builder, I had a glorious idea that I would like to build the biggest and the coolest build ever to show what I am able to do. With this mindset, I start to search for parts. In the first moment, I decided that I need the biggest case on the market, and ThermalTake View 91 is definitely one of them. As a next big idea was that I would like to water cool absolutely everything what can be water cooled. So let's start with water cooling party and find all the blocks. First I started with motherboard, where I decided that if this build might be the big one and the most powerful one, I need something very powerful. So Threadripper was the choice number one. I choose Aorus Master for Threadripper CPUs, and as a CPU is used Threadripper 3096X, 24 cores, 48 threads, absolutely powerhouse. And then for this I needed a water block. For this motherboard there are several water blocks, but one was definitely the better than the others, and this is the one which I have chosen. I love this motherboard and this block till one moment where I found out that this EK water block was made for version of the motherboard 5.0, but I have motherboard version 1.1. It means that by default I was unlucky and the water block didn't fit to the motherboard. So with a Dremel tool I had to modify it a bit, and now as you can see it fits perfectly. Then this motherboard has 3 SSD slots. So another part was SSD blocks. Unfortunately, EK don't do this water blocks, so I had to choose another brand. What a pity, EK. Maybe next time. Then there is a chipset block. This was one of the decision points which motherboard to choose, because there is not much motherboards to which is available the chipset block. So this motherboard was win-win in 2 categories. Probably the coolest CPU block, and even the chipset water block was available. Absolutely perfect. Then I would like to cool RAMs. There is a lot of RAMs. This build has 256 gigabytes of RAM. It is more of the workstation, but as always you can use it for gaming, but it's probably a bit of overkill. These EK blocks with Monarch logo on the side are absolutely glorious. I love them, but this is my personal opinion. Next, what I have bought was the graphic card. Some of you maybe ask why I choose Gigabyte Aorus graphic card and why 3080, not 3090 or 3090 Ti. Well, reason for that was because motherboard was Aorus, so why not to have Aorus graphic card? And why not 3090? Here I have to be straight. I bought this graphic card in an absolute peak of prices of GPUs in a history. So 3090 in that days have price tag around 2,500, something like that, euros, which is a lot. At least for me, it is a lot. So that's why I decided to use 3080. But as you can see with this fully custom GPU holder, you can easily switch to almost any other GPU because you are probably not limited that much with the length of the GPU, which is always good. And that's probably from the most important parts of a computer it. And now, as you probably someone of you noticed, this build is as EK as possible, because I don't know, I like and trust EK quite a lot, and I like the design of the components. So there are two loops. One is for GPU and second for a CPU part. The GPU one is quite clear. Block here is the 2 to the 1 radiator, 2 radiator, 3rd radiator, up to the top, 360 at the front and back to the reservoir. Clear. The part for a CPU is a bit complicated, but I think that I'm very satisfied with the look of the CPU part, because here's the pump and reservoir, which pull the water from the radiator. Push the water to the radiator. From the radiator, go here directly to the CPU block. From CPU block to the 1 RAM block to the 2nd RAM block, and from here we go to the first SSD, then to the chipset, and from chipset to the 2nd SSD and to the 3rd SSD. For a first time bending in my life, it was quite tough job, but it was a very pleasant experience to learn how to bend, and at the end of the day it looks amazing, don't you think? Probably last part of this PC build is PSU. For PSU there is a quite interesting story, because I wanted to use Aorus PSU either, because if I can have a motherboard Aorus, graphic card Aorus, why not to have PSU Aorus? And it even fits there, because there is quite limited amount of space. I bought the PSU, but I found out after some time, where I start to put the components together, that I have one very big problem. And that problem was that the cables for this Aorus PSU, first they are short, because I needed quite long cables, especially for a GPU. These cables behind and right here are 90 centimeters long, which is much longer than the stock ones. And the second problem is that the cables was or are quite ugly, at least in my point of view. And then why I didn't buy custom cables? Because for this PSU, or to the gigabyte PSUs at all, nobody makes custom cables. Quite a sad story. So I had to buy this Silver Stone, which fits perfectly well, and the cables are fully modified and they are perfect too. And that's probably everything from this video. I have to thank you for your time and see you soon.